It's hard when you can't be open and honest with your spouse. The one person in this whole world where that's supposed to make you feel safe, that you're supposed to be able to express your vulnerabilities to. And experiencing this would make anyone feel so
furious. I mean, blood boiling, temperature rising, steam coming out of your ears, kind of furious. And you just hold it all deep down inside because now, if you express yourself to your spouse, you're just gonna go explode in an all-out episode of blind rage. And then you become the ogre. And the worst part of all is that these negative emotions cause you to reject the
Holy Spirit. Paul says in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 to 31, let no corrupt communications proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers, and grieve not the Holy Spirit of God, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. I don't want to lose out on the Holy Spirit. That's the power of God right there. But Satan makes it so
hard to get rid of the bitterness and rage, to not let it come out of my mouth. It's hard to speak gracefully and loving to someone who at the moment you have bitterness, wrath, anger, and rage towards. But when looking at things spiritually, we'll find that it's Satan who uses these situations to feed and protect our pride and vulnerabilities, because he knows that it will cause us to reject our spiritual defense system, the Holy Spirit, which is the power of God that has been graciously given to us to dwell in us, which would make us more powerful than him. And that's just the beginning, because Satan is looking to destroy your
marriage and your family. Along with causing you to reject the Holy Spirit, Satan knows that a lack of a safe place in a marriage will cause a husband and a wife to find a place somewhere else. This can cause all kinds of problems. And this is why some men and women go to the bar and happy hour instead of going home after work, because it's a safe place. This is why some men and women spend money on building expensive and lavish rooms in their homes just so that they can escape to a safe place. And this can cause something that can lead to
jealousy. When you give that quality time that is designed for your spouse elsewhere, it's gonna cause issues. You will cause your spouse to feel as if you love that thing more than them. And then in situations where the lack of a safe place in a relationship is really bad, some individuals may look for a safe place in someone outside of their marriage with the opposite sex. Someone that they can speak to without any judgment, receiving comfort in return that they do not get from their spouse. Majority of the time, this tends to lead to
adultery. When you open up your vulnerabilities with someone else of the opposite sex, it can create feelings and sexual tensions because you are receiving intimacy that you have been coveting but so sorely missing from your spouse. Now, we all know the seventh commandment found in Exodus 21 verse 13 says, thou shalt not commit adultery. Now, this commandment is not just God being a dictator, but rather God's desire is that we do not do something that could permanently destroy our marriages and families. Now, let's be frank, adultery does not only hurt your spouse, but it destroys the lives of your children as well. How they view God and how they view relationships and marriages. All this can be ended if spouses, the one who feels there is no safe place and the one who does not create the safe place, humbles themselves and focuses on building the proper atmosphere. And to begin with, the person who does not create a safe place for their mate has an issue with
pride, insecurity, and a false sense of entitlement. And no one likes to hear that about themselves, but that's just the pride, insecurity, and false sense of entitlement speaking through your flesh. But let's look at this from the perspective of the first relationship issue recorded in heaven, the one between the Godhead and Lucifer. Lucifer was the most beautiful, powerful, and wisest angel ever made, and still is. But the prophet Ezekiel tells us that he became very prideful because of how he saw himself. This pride caused him to have an issue with the law of God, and when God tried to reason with him, his pride prevented him from creating a
safe place. And because there was no safe place, a heated argument broke out, the kind of argument that created war in heaven. This is the same kind of warlike arguments that create war in our homes and sometimes in front of our kids, all because we were too prideful to create a safe place and allow our spouse to share their feelings. And sometimes, just sometimes, It's all out of insecurity because we don't want to hear about the flaws that we have, just as Lucifer didn't want to hear about his flaws. Then there was the false sense of
entitlement. And Lucifer's argument with God, he thought to himself, who is God to be talking to me like this? He saw himself as being above God, saying in Ezekiel 14, verse 13 and 14, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Many times when we argue with our spouse, we feel a false sense of entitlement as if they shouldn't be talking to us in that way, or who are they to be telling us about ourselves? Don't you see, when we do this, we're literally acting like Satan.
When your spouse comes to you to express yourself, just listen. Listen to everything that they have to say, even if they are screaming at you. Don't react to the expression of their pent-up emotions and feelings by saying after they have poured out their heart to you,
who do you think you're talking to like that? I know you're not talking to me like that.
Try to understand that they are hurt and seek to make peace with them, even at the expense of your own pride. And then let them know.
I hear you. I understand you. I see where you're coming from. It's just that sometimes the way that you talk to me, I feel like my flesh needs to take over. So next time, just talk to me. I'll understand you. It's a safe place here. Last, for those of us who find it difficult to express our hurt to our spouse, a few tips is to pray before you go to speak to your spouse. That you do it in a spirit-filled way and pray in your mind while you speak to your spouse so that when your mind dwells on your emotions, the bitterness and rage does not build up, pushing the Holy Spirit out of the atmosphere, because it is He who creates the safe place. But most of all, don't
attack your spouse. Rather, just explain calmly and lovingly the situation that is hurting you. Speak civilly and let the Holy Spirit do the rest. If you follow these instructions with practice, your home will be a heaven on earth. But it's like we always say,
heaven on earth,
it's a decision.
Hi guys, I hope you were blessed by this video. And if you were, please click the like button and share with your friends and follow us on social media. And here are other videos for you to check out as well. God bless you and see you next week.